Good morning, gardeners. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing good. Welcome aboard the Cosmic Chariot. So today we're going to be taking a look at my clone station, or my hydroponic setup that I have my Brussels sprouts in that I've actually got from the garden. These were extra Brussels sprouts that I had no use for, and I planted them not realizing that I had Brussels sprouts indoors during the winter. During the winter, I basically planted Brussels sprouts inside and Brussels sprouts outside, and these are the ones I planted outside, and they didn't grow as big as the one indoors. So that's why I was just like, I have enough Brussels sprouts. Let's just bring them inside and let's put them in the hydroponic setup. Now, normally I would use this for tomatoes or peppers, but I decided, why not? They weren't going anywhere. I could have composted it, but I was just like, you know what? Let's just actually I did compost a few, but out of 5 I kept 3. So, if the ones in the garden, die or whatever, or something happens to them where they don't last for a full year before I harvest, then I have these guys as a backup. But basically, my hydroponic setup is just a plastic bin and some hydrogen pellets, just like that. I have algae in there just so it's just like a beneficial thing for your plants and stuff like that. Now, I know most people are going to be like, you have algae in your, tank? Yeah, I do, because the plants don't grow without algae. Like, I'm sure they do if you have like an algae eater and some fish, but this is hydroponics. They can grow with algae. I'm not too worried about cleaning it every so often. Yeah, I cleaned it before I put them in there, but I kept the thing in so that way they would have algae, so that way they can have a water setup that was already set up. It's like when you have a fish, and you don't just dump it right in the water. You add a filter that was already used, or old water, a little bit in there, so that way the fishes don't die right away because it's not right for them. Or you add that stuff that I don't know. It's like 2 drops of it or whatever in your fish tank, and all of a sudden your fish can swim in it, right? But basically, you're just putting algae in your water. You're putting algae in there so that way your fish can thrive. And my air pump is just this little fish air pump, nothing major. Basically, what the air pump is going to do is it's going to bring oxygen to the plants. Now, right now I have it unplugged, but that's fine. They don't need it right away. It's not like there's fish in there. I could probably get some algae eaters and put it in there. Maybe even some goldfish, whatever, right? Some betta fish, the setup's there, right? But either way, yeah, I just wanted to show you guys a little bit on that. I know I'm not showing it to you right now, but I'm just kind of talking just because it's kind of hard to show you guys and talk at the same time. So, I am doing this on my laptop, so yeah. But here's a little sneak peek, or not a sneak peek. It's not a sneak peek. It's a little peek at my hydroponic setup. And basically, I did have styrofoam in there, but when I was trying to cut out the molds to put the cups in, it fell apart, and I was just like, really? So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just go with this. It's like a styrofoam, but it's not quite styrofoam. But basically what you want is you want it to like float around a little bit, so that way the roots have room to really grow and sink down. obviously I could have done this in a bucket to where the roots will just sink down to the bottom. But either way, I am very new to hydroponics. I've actually wanted to get into hydroponics and aquaponics for a while now, but I was just like, how do I get started? What do I do? And honestly, I started growing a garden, and I was just like, you know what? I got this. Like, I'm good. Let's try to jump into hydroponics. And we have fish tanks, we have, the hydrogen balls. That's originally why I got them. I didn't get them for the hydrogen itself. I originally I got them because I wanted to do something with hydroponics, and then I was just like, well, how am I going to get this to work? But basically, yeah. I kind of just sprinkled the hydrogen balls all over my plants, just because I figured if it helps them in hydroponics, it might help them in gardening, right? But I don't know. I don't really see much of a difference. I think if you actually like chiseled at it, then it would probably like be better for the plants. But I don't know. I don't know. Either way, that's my cloning station. So I may put a sweet potato slip in here. I'm doing this the same day that I made the sweet potato video, but yeah, it's coming along. It obviously I gotta go plug it in so that way it's continuing to growing. But since I am growing Brussels sprouts and it is a part of my garden, why not show you guys, right? But yeah, I can basically grow anything, anywhere, anytime, and it's just super easy for me, right? You don't have to manage it too much. You don't have to water it every day because, well, it's getting water by itself. It's being self-sufficient. A self-sufficient plant. It's becoming its own ecosystem, and you don't need to do anything, right? With traditional gardening, you got to make sure you water it. You got to make sure the soil level is good, and if you start seeing problems, obviously there may be some problems with the setup as a whole, but you're not going to see like deficiencies. And if you do, you know what to add. You can just be like, all right, well, let's add some fish emulsion and just like throw that in there, or let's add some liquid nitrogen or some liquid phosphate or some liquid potassium, whatever it is. But honestly, you're not going to have much of a problem, especially if you're doing like an aquaponic setup because the fish, they're already giving you the fertilizer. You don't have to do much. You're just sitting there like, all right, cool. And eventually I want to do this on like a larger scale with aquaponics, maybe get some tilapia and like just have my own supply of fish and vegetables and stuff like that. But I don't know. Right now, I'm starting small, and I'm going to be staying small for a little bit until the day comes where I'm just like, you know what? Screw it. We're going all in. Right? It's kind of like blackjack or any card game or poker. You're just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm feeling lucky. Let's go all in. Let's put all of our chips in, right? But either way, I'm not too great at hydroponics. I've only grown Brussels sprouts literally, but you got, I think it's David Hosling, I believe his channel's name. Yeah, something like that. Or you can look at you can check out Homestead Aquarius's video. I know he has hydroponic stuff all over. He has fish. He has aquaponics. He doesn't really have hydroponics, but it's the same thing. It's just with fish. It's a little bit easier, but more complicated at the same time. Which I don't know. That's what I like about it. I like the complexity of it. I don't know. It's something that you can't really get bored of. Like, yeah, you can. There's simple ways to do it, and then there's complex ways to do it, and that's the best part. And you can do the same thing with gardening. You can make gardening super simple and easy to manage, or you can make it super complex and yeah. I don't know. I enjoy, doing things that can be super simple but also super complex and very detailed and stuff like that. Like when I was a child, I was actually into robotics, but I didn't really go towards that because I was just like, it's robotics. Like, I don't know. Like, I was interested in it, but it was just like, that's not what the cool kids are doing, right? They're not going into robotics or anything. I don't know. I did take a robotics class, though, but I don't know. I also took a computer class, a web design class, and I actually got an A, and all I did was sleep. So I don't know. I don't know how this stuff works, but either way, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.